Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. And now, max out your savings. The more you buy, the more you save on beds, bases, and more. Plus, get free home delivery on any smart bed with base. Limited time. Check it out at a Sleep Number store near you or at sleepnumber.com today.
AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusu. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Ross Jackson, bottom of this hour. Saints do 2 trades at the deadline. They trade Rashid Shaheed and Trevor Penning. Ross Jackson will be here to get a reaction. Sean Salisbury 1 hour from right now. On Friday, Verge Ausberry was named LSU's interim athletic director with full autonomy to hire LSU's next football coach. Verge, good enough to spend a couple of minutes with us here. I know it's busy. Thank you for the time. How are you?
Doing great, Matt. Everything's going well. We just had a president, Dr. Ruth, is our new president, and we have also a chancellor of our campus now. So we have alignment. That's what we've been waiting for. From the board, you have a president, you have the chancellor provost. So we feel that we're in very, very good shape right now.
Your first time in since 2012 when they combined the president and chancellor's office. So now someone asked what a chancellor. That's basically the person that's going to run the Baton Rouge campus, the main campus where the president will run the entire system. You mentioned alignment, Verge, and I was talking about it a bit in the last hour, but it is one of those things that a week ago it was evident with so much sort of just a void in a lot of the leadership spots. You're starting to fill those now. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit on why that is so important in this very formative part of LSU athletics.
Well, it's important to any athletic department, especially LSU. That alignment means a lot. And you have leadership. You don't have leadership. You have a lot of boys there. And it really, really hurts you. It hurts you out there going out in the market. People want to know, who they report to, who they answer to. That's very, very important in our system. And we had to make sure we get the president first. And we didn't know they was going to split it up and put the provost chancellor position, but we had to get a president here. And Dr. Roos and I met during the interview process, and he understands how important football is and how important athletics is to LSU, the front portion of the house. So we'll be working close together. He'll be helping us, joining us, consulting with us on this football search. That's what we needed. And talking to people out there, agents and candidates and other people in the business, they will always ask them, who's going to be the president? Who we report to? Who's the AD? I'm the interim AD. So you have to make them feel comfortable in what we were doing, and the board is still there, and this is the system we had. But everybody has to be in alignment. Don't have that alignment, then you're really going to have problems no matter what coach you pick. And that's something that's really important to us.
You mentioned that you spoke to Dr. Roos during the process, the interview process. What were your impressions speaking with him?
Very calm, very down to earth. Knows the business side of universities. He knows economics, no finances, and that's important for us, especially in the new age where we're going, especially in athletics, especially as a university. Just try to make sure that we're all in the right position financially. And what we do when we hire coaches and hire people, he wants to be involved, and that's important for us. We want him to be involved. The president is not involved with what you're doing, you're really going to have some problems down the road.
You mentioned that Dr. Roos will be assisting in the search. On Friday, you mentioned 4 committee members and then a 5th who you didn't name. Is that the 5th committee? Is Dr. Roos the 5th committee member? Or is there someone else that maybe is just choosing to remain anonymous?
He'll be that consultant, yes. That's who we were waiting for, the president to be hired, and that's who we kind of wanted to have in there to make sure he helps us. He needs to be a part of it. Every football search I've been a part of, the president has been involved. President or the chancellor, depending. Back then it was the chancellor, but now the president has been involved with it in every major search. And especially the football search, that search is huge. It's $200 million to the Baton Rouge, to the LSU athletic department, and about $700 million to the Baton Rouge economy. So it means so much to this institution, the whole LSU brand, that it's important. I would like him to be a part of this process with us.
What about the new chancellor? Who's coming in from Alabama, Jim Dalton? Will he have a say in the coaching search hire as well?
No. He'll be handling the research and academic part of the campus. Athletics reports directly to the president. That's how he has it set up.
Verge Ausberry is our guest. Last week, Verge was it was a tumultuous week, I think, for everybody. We've talked about alignment, establishing some of this. What has been the response that you've gotten to the LSU job in light of everything that happened last week?
Very positive. We are moving forward. I mean, a lot of excitement about the job. A lot of our targets that we've been targeting have really good feedback about the job. So we feel that we're in a really, really good position right now, and we just have to make sure, get everybody together, start talking to people here in the process. But I think we're strong. I think we've moved forward. I think, coaches look at things a little differently. They don't get caught into the political part of it and the politics. They see what's going on. But, LSU is a job where you think you come here and win. It's a great opportunity. And coaches take it as a challenge, too. It's a great program, one of the best in the country. But, things are changing now, too, in our business. It's, with the NIL and the rev sharing and all the transfer portal, those things have changed a lot. And we have to be careful with it. We're not the NFL. In the NFL, there's alignment. In the NFL, you have the owner, you have the general manager, you have the players. It's vertically, like Coach Saban say. But here, it's so big. You have the agents, you have the parents. So we have to make sure that there are the right mechanisms in place to help the new coach, no matter who that new coach is. I think the days of seeing a coach win, 5, 6 national championships, that's not going to be the same, especially with the rev share. We just have to make sure that what we're doing here, the things that we have in place, the infrastructure that we have here at LSU, is good enough to support the coach. So every year, tonight the college football playoffs will come up. So every year we need to be mentioned in that. Even if you're not in the top 12 or the top 16, your name, you're right there on the brink. The month of November is a long month, and we're going to play ourselves into it. Last year, I think Ohio State was ranked 10th in the college football where they were seeded at. And they lost their last game, but they won the national championship. They got hot at the right time. That's where we need to be at LSU. We got to always be in that mix. The Georgias, the Ohio State, those are 2 programs that, comparable to LSU. That's where we need to be at LSU.
Verge Ausberry is our guest. Well, you mentioned Nick Saban. I'm sure you've seen Shaq and Us Weekly said, I heard through the grapevine that they were having conversations with Nick Saban. So are you or anyone affiliated with LSU having conversations with Nick Saban?
Nick Saban and I have a standing conversation probably every 2 to 3 weeks. We're good friends, first of all, and a person that I admire a lot. And Coach Saban was joking. No way he's coming back to football, okay? Miss Terry's not going to let him. So That's not going to happen. Let's get that out the way soon. Because, if he was and he was interested, I'll go drive down there and pick him up right now and bring him back.
Okay, wait. So, Verge, you're saying no shot?
I think that is run its course, okay?
Okay.
But, he works for ESPN now, and he does consulting with people and talk to people. You get to see things out there. And he He gets to tell you about different coaches he see and observe. So I ask him questions about what it takes to coach the LSU job. And I always ask him that. And times have changed since the time he's been here. He didn't have all the different things that we have now. That's why he kept saying about the infrastructure and what we have here, what we have set up here. You don't win just because you're LSU. You have to win because you're doing the right things and the right things in place, the right mechanisms, the right infrastructure. I keep hitting on those words because that's what's important, the right people in the system. And then the coach has to be the one to have the right fit when he's here. Does he fit with the players? Does he fit with the culture down here? You know, at LSU, we have many constituents. You have faculty, you have staff, you have students, you have alumni, you have boosters, you have donors, you have NIL donors, you have corporate sponsors, you have 340-some organizations on this campus. So you have to fit some kind of way in all of that, not including the Baton Rouge and Louisiana community. So that coach has to be the right fit for this program. All these coaches could coach X's and O's. They could draw it up. They could call plays. They could do all of that. But are they the right fit for the institution? And are they the right fit at LSU?
Is head coaching experience, you said you want to hire the best coach. You said that on Friday. Is head coaching experience a prerequisite for the next hire?
You know, in our process right now, Matt, we're wide open. But we would like someone to have head coaching experience. Even if he's not a head coach now, have the experience. You know, LSU, like I said, it's a hard job. It's a 2-hand on 18-wheeler job. You take your eyes off the road, you take your hands off the wheel, you'll flip it over. So it's something about managing people. You're managing over 140 people in that building, the head football coach at LSU, not including all the players, 135 players. So you're running a mini organization. My job is I run the corporation as the athletic director. But there's many small corporations underneath you. And football is one of them. But football is a major corporation underneath you because bottom line, it's 89 and 90% of our budget. And that's why it's so important because it funds everything we do in athletics. And that's why we have hiccups, we have bumps and bruises. But we got to come out of it. And that's why football is so important.
Do you prefer head coaching experience but not a prerequisite, if I understand correctly? Okay.
Correct.
Correct. Is there, in Verge, this is the really complicated one. You've touched on it a little bit just with like the alignment and how to build a team today, but the timeline is so complex because of the December signing periods, December the 3rd, and then the January portal period. What is the timeline for hiring the next coach?
You know, we're trying to get that. We don't have an actual timeline. We are aware of those dates. You know, December 3rd is the signing date. I think Frank Wilson has done a great job of holding this together and putting us in the right position. We haven't lost any kid on our team yet, talking about getting in the portal or leaving or transferring. And we hadn't lost anybody, any recruits yet in one of the top recruiting classes. So, yeah, that signing date, December 3rd, is coming up quickly. We hopefully be around that time, know kind of what direction we're going and who we have. And the next part is the portal from January 2nd to the 16th. So that's things that we're staying focused on and paying a lot of attention to, but that will play a part of this coaching hire.
So in theory, like if there were a coach, again, this is hypothetical, if there were a coach who made the playoffs and was coaching beyond January 1st, that wouldn't necessarily eliminate them from consideration?
No, it would not.
Okay. Verge, there's one other thing. You mentioned a bit ago all the searches that you've been on, and I don't know that people – I was hoping you could shed some light on this because, I mean, you and I think, if I'm doing this correctly, like 4 football coaching searches and 3 different men's basketball searches. I mean, you've been on like dozens of these committees over the years selecting coaches for LSU in all different sports. Football, the revenue generating, the non-revenue sports. Can you kind of shed some light just on the formatics of like what you're doing now for the audience to understand? Like, are you talking to agents? Is this like a 24/7 thing? Is it slow now? It picks up later? Like, how does this whole process work? I mean, if you can elaborate to whatever degree you can.
You're making calls 24/7. And you picking up your phone every chance you get. There's the agents calling, the representative of coaches calling. And you're just trying to talk to them to gauge their interest. Where are they? A lot of times they want to talk to me personally to get that feel about who I'm going to be working for. Is Verge Ausberry going to be the AD, the interim AD? We don't know. But they want to know who they're talking to and who they're communicating with, and the agent wants to know that. They're not going to put their clients out there, and there's no person they can report to. So that's the important part of this here, and that's what we're trying to make people feel comfortable with, in the position I'm in, and Those opportunities will come later, but right now we want to hire the right person. And that's why it's so important to hire the president. But it's a long process. And we start the process, Matt, we start this process. When you hire a coach, you automatically start looking for your next coach. And you hope your coach stays here 20 years. But you have to make sure that you're doing what's right, because you never know what could happen in our business. And you watch a lot of football, you watch a lot of sporting events and say, you know what? It's like, that guy's a great coach. He does some great things. They win. But you also have to make sure to look at it and say, is that coach a great fit for us here? And I think that's what we have to do our due diligence on and make sure that we're looking at that a little deeper.
So who do you think is a great coach and a great fit?
There's a lot of people. That's a long list.
You can't blame me for asking.
No, you can ask, but no, a person that relates to the players, a person that have a presence in our state in Louisiana, a person that understands what we do here in Louisiana and how much it means to the people in Louisiana, but also for the young men who play for him to have fun, graduate, be better people, and have relationships with them, building relationships. That's the good fit. That's all. Could he relate to the players? Could he communicate with the players? We know all the guys on our list are great football coaches, but how do they fit in here with what we do?
Can I see your list?
No, I don't have one.
One more thing, Verge, before you go. Scott Ballard said on Friday that you have the full authority to make the head coaching hire. You mentioned Dr. Roos will now be part of the search. Just formatically, would the president have to approve whatever hire you make?
The president's always approve. The president of the board, they have to approve. They have to approve the contracts, those type of things. But we'll be on the same team. We'll look at all the people out there and all the people we're talking to. And I think he trusts me right now. I talked to Dr. Roos about this, where we are kind of in the process, who we're looking at, our target. And he was happy with that. So we'll definitely be talking to him, and I definitely want him to be a part of this. He has to be a part of it.
Yeah.
But this here is bigger than just the athletic department. It's the whole LSU brand.
Busy time, I know. Thanks for taking a few minutes to join us today. We'll be in touch.
No, man, Matt. Thank you so much.
That is LSU Athletic Director Verge Ausberry joining us for a couple of minutes here on this Tuesday. First interview Verge has done since Friday when he was named the interim AD. We do appreciate his time. Let's break and react to that when we come back here on AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
AFR.
GLO, GlowResources.com, complete employer solutions. Tell you what, you're looking to make a hire? Maybe you're looking to hire a coach. Call Glow Resources. They can help you. They know the questions to ask. I actually don't know if they've ever hired a football coach. That's probably that might be out of their purview. Maybe the one thing out of their purview, but you want C-level management? They can help you with that. Any type of office job, office assistant, up to C-level management, skilled blue-collar labor, literally any job, any industry, our friends at Glow Resources can help, and they're right here in Baton Rouge. Corporate office is right there on Perkins Road near Quail Oak, right near Pennington. And they also have an office in New Orleans and all over the Southeast. And they serve companies all over the world, quite literally. They're a massive business, and it's so impressive to look at their operation. But the bottom line is we all know that people make your business efficient. You need the right people. Glow Resources can help. So check them out online at GLO, GlowResources.com.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Look at her face. She ain't a fooling me.
All right, thanks to Verge Ausberry for joining us there. I know an incredibly busy time, and today LSU announced Dr. Wade Roos is the new university president. They also announced a new chancellor today for the Baton Rouge campus. So it's an important time. You could understand just having that convo with Verge, the importance of getting leadership in place. Otherwise, you're a leaderless army. And that's what it felt like a week ago. That's why there was so much. Unease last week, because you didn't have the alignment Verge mentioned for one singular authoritative figure who could step up and say, "This is the answer. This is the direction." I mean, we sat there at that press conference on Friday and didn't even know who was in charge of what. which is why I said on Friday, the singular most important thing to come of that press conference was saying that Verge Ausberry has the authority to hire the football coach. That was the singular most important thing, because now every agent, every representative, prospective coach, they know who the decision maker is now. And Verge even said it there. Look, yeah, every hire is subject to board approval. Of course it is. But you're giving your athletic director, in this case your interim AD, Verge Ausberry, the authority to go hire a coach. So now what he says are the guiding principles of this search. So a few things that Verge said there that I found interesting. Head coaching experience is preferred but not required. And I do think that's important because of a lot of the candidates that we've talked about here. You know, we've mentioned, for example, Kelvin Shepard or Joe Brady. Those are guys that have not been head coaches before. And listen, we've seen both ends of this spectrum. Georgia hired Kirby Smart, first-time head coach. Before that, they hired Mark Richt, first-time head coach. Oklahoma, look at their last three hires. Bob Stoops was a first-time head coach. Lincoln Riley was a first-time head coach. Brent Venables was a first-time head coach. Dabo was a first-time head coach at Clemson. I can run through a lot of examples of schools that have hired first-time head coaches. Ryan Day was a first-time head coach at Ohio State. Sharon Moore right now at Michigan is a first-time head coach. Like, major programs have and will hire first-time head coaches. You just got to believe you got the right guy. So, especially in this era where you just hired the guy who was the winningest active coach in college football, and it didn't work. It's more about finding the best guy in the current state of college football for your job. Oregon hired Dan Lanning, first-time head coach, a guy that for me would be at the top of my list. Notre Dame hired Marcus Freeman, first-time head coach, got him in the championship game a year ago. I'm good in this era, especially hiring someone who is a first-time head coach if you get the right guy. So Verge said head coaching experience is preferred, but not a prerequisite. I thought a couple other things that were interesting. When I asked him about the timeline, he said they would wait on someone coaching in the college football playoff, even if it meant not hiring your coach until after the December signing period and the January portal period. And that's notable, y'all, because there is no spring portal period anymore. And so if you, and remember, pretty much all of the high school signees sign in December now. So you would have to do an exceptional job communicating to your recruits to have these young people sign in December if you don't have your coach in place. Now, the flip side of that is it would also stand to reason that if you don't have your coach in place in December, you're waiting for someone in the playoff. And at that point, it could really narrow down, right? Playoff or an NFL coach. Maybe Kelvin Shepard, Joe Brady, some of the names that we've talked about, right? Or potentially Frank Wilson. So I think that's important to note. Ideally, in a perfect world, the regular season ends at Saturday when you play Oklahoma. And like Sunday, you're hiring your coach. Ideally. It just doesn't always work that way. So if it does have to bleed into December when teams' seasons end in the playoff, maybe it goes there. Verge said they're not opposed to that. I think this is another important note. On Friday, when they had the press conference, Verge mentioned 4 members of his committee. Of course, the 2 men that were there with him on the podium that day, and Scott Ballard, the president of the board, and John Carmouche, who's the president of the athletics committee on the board. And then he also mentioned E.J. Kuiper, who's the president CEO of the FMOL Health System. And then also Ben Bordelon, who he's got 2 sons on the team, played at LSU, and is the CEO of Bollinger, and they're a major benefactor of LSU. So those 4, and Verge mentioned there would be a 5th, and he didn't name that person. And today he confirmed that it is Wade Roos, the new president. So he was waiting, obviously, to see who would be hired. At that point on Friday, there were the 3 finalists. Today, Dr. Roos has been named as the new president of LSU, so he'll be the 5th member of that committee. So those are the 5 members of the committee. And then maybe interesting as well, Verge kind of chuckled at the notion of Saban. Do you have that audio, by the way, on Saban? Yeah, here you go. This was Verge talking about when I asked him about Saban.
Nick Saban and I have a standing conversation probably every 2 to 3 weeks. We're good friends, first of all, and a person that I admire a lot. And Coach Saban was joking, no way he's coming back to football, okay? And Miss Terry's not going to let him. So
Okay.
That's not going to happen. Let's get that out the way soon, because if he was and he was interested, I'll go drive down there and pick him up right now.
Okay, wait. So, wait, Verge, you're saying no shot.
I think that is run its course, okay?
Okay. You can't be more declarative than that. I mean, Nick Saban could obviously have a change of heart. He could change his mind. And you heard Verge say, if he was interested, I'd drive over there and pick him up. But I think maybe the more important thing there, and again, I don't know how much more definitively I could say it. I don't think Nick Saban's going to be the coach. But as long as there's rumblings and rumors and things that appear credible, like Shaq is a credible person, I'll talk about it. But for me, I think the more important thing there is Verge saying, I talk to Nick Saban every 2 to 3 weeks. Two things. Number one, Verge can consult with Nick. What do you think? That's number one. Two, doesn't that speak to Verge's credibility? It's why I have no problem, like zero reservations whatsoever about Verge Ausberry making this hire and leading this search. He played football at LSU. He's been an athletic administrator at LSU for 30 years, maybe even longer than that. I have to see the exact year when he started, but it was shortly after he finished playing. Like, Verge has seen everything for 3 decades. Like, yeah, I'm okay with Verge making the hire. Completely okay with it. And there's strikes and gutters, but yeah, I'm good with it for sure. So, and that speaks to the credibility he has for as respected as he is for as long as he's been an athletics administrator. All right, it's after further review. Let me not get a break. Brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com, WilliamsonEye.com for the Williamson Eye Center. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. Hey, look, we're nearing the end of the year. If you have HSA or FSA funds, don't let them expire. You can use those to get that refractive procedure. No one better than Dr. Blake Williamson at the Williamson Eye Center. More than 75 years serving our communities here in South Louisiana. WilliamsonEye.com, WilliamsonEye.com. Okay, quick break. Let me get back on track here. Ross Jackson is here next. Trade deadline came and went. Saints shipped off 2 players, Rashid Shaheed and Trevor Penning. Ross will be with us to react and make sense of all of it, how the Saints move forward. That's next. It's AFR.
After further review.
If you're thinking of selling your home, first, you got to know how much your home is worth, right? So a lot of times, if you're going to go buy a new home, first you have to sell your current home, use that money as a down payment, whatever the case may be. Well, you got to know how much your home is worth. Well, how do you figure that out? Agent225.com, agent225.com, agent225.com. I want you to go to the website right now. It's Darren James's website. And Darren has an awesome tool on the homepage. It's the home value tool. It doesn't matter if you're on desktop or mobile. If you're on mobile, just scroll. You'll just start scrolling. You'll see it says home value. And there's a bar where you can enter your address. Just enter your home address, and literally in a matter of seconds, it'll use local market data to give you an accurate price of what your home is worth today. Agent225.com. Go to the website right now. It's for Darren James. Agent225.com.
Think real estate. Think Darren James.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She's always staring at me while I'm chugging along.
All right, NFL trade deadline about 90 minutes ago it passed. The New Orleans Saints were sellers. The New Orleans Saints were sellers at the trade deadline. Ross Jackson, LouisianaSports.net. Good to join us here for a couple of minutes. How are you, man? I'm sorry? All right, we don't have Ross. All right, we're trying to connect here with Ross Jackson. I want to talk about what the Saints did today here at the trade deadline, moving both Rashid Shaheed and Trevor Penning. Rashid for a 4 and a 5 to Seattle, and then Trevor Penning goes to the Chargers for a 2027 7th-round pick. So we'll connect with Ross. Oh, we have. Okay. Ross is with us now. How are you, man?
Hey, buddy. Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Of course. We appreciate the time. All right. Reaction to what the Saints did with the 2 moves they make.
Yeah, I think that they needed to make moves. I had made the argument that they needed to make multiple moves today here ahead of the trade deadline. They got that done. They've gone from having 11 selections over the course of the next 2 drafts to now being back to having 14. And they could potentially have an additional one coming their way if they don't have Isaac Adam hit the field much more for the rest of the season. They could get that 4th-round compensatory selection from Paulson Adebo. I think that the return on the Rashid Shaheed deal is fair. I think that the return that the Saints got on Trevor Penning, a 2027 6th-round pick, was not enough, or I guess was less than I expected. Let me say it that way. Anything that you can get back for Trevor Penning was probably a good move for New Orleans. But, man, getting a 6th-round pick a year later just felt like a little bit of a low return for a starting offensive line.
Let's talk about Shaheed. So they get a 4. They send Shaheed to Seattle for a 4 and a 5. Make sense of this deal and why it makes sense for New Orleans.
Yeah, look, it's tough in terms of the sentimental value of losing a guy like Rashid Shaheed, who was, I'll happily say, like one of the nicest guys in the locker room and was an absolute playmaker on the field as well. Just kind of checked all the boxes of star potential in the NFL. But in order to get value, you have to give value. And so the Saints moved a player that was on an expiring contract, that there was no guarantee that he would re-sign with the team, and that he would potentially look to hit the open market this offseason. With that, the Saints got effectively good value back. I think getting a 4th and a 5th gives you a pretty good return based on the fact that the Jacoby Myers trade earlier in the day was for a 4th and a 6th. You came in above the market at the position, and at most you're probably going to get a 4th-round pick all by itself a year from now when it came to potential compensatory selection if he would have gone up and signed elsewhere. And so the Saints kind of beat the market on both of those sides. They get a 4th-round pick this year, but then they add the 5th-round pick as well. Those are rounds where the Saints can find some talent, and also those are selections that the team can use to move around in the draft as well to go and get the guys that they might be targeting.
So, Ross, just to clarify, was there not a sense that Shaheed was looking to re-sign with the Saints this offseason, or the Saints weren't going to be willing to pay market value?
I think that there was some mutual interest in returning. There hadn't been many conversations that took place between the team and Shaheed up to this point, which might have been a little bit of a signifier of understanding that they could potentially come to this point at the trade deadline. But whether or not a deal was going to be reached in between would have come down to when those negotiations actually began. The thing is that the talks hadn't really started. And so either the team was open to the opportunity of potentially moving him at the trade deadline and was looking for the opportunity there, wanted to leave the door open for it, or they would have gotten to the end of the season and then started the conversations there. And then at that point, there's no guarantee that anything would have reached an agreement. And so this way, the Saints get better than what they would have gotten had a deal not been reached in the offseason.
Let's talk about Penning. So if you get a 2027 6th-round pick for a guy that was a first-rounder, why do you do the deal?
Yeah, it feels like, it's the way that I said it on Locked On Saints today was, if I'm your server, I'd rather you not tip me than tip me $1. You know what I mean? Go to hell with that. I don't want it. You know what I mean? And so, to me, that's kind of what that felt like. And it's like, I
keep
get
your
it.
stinking
you know
dollar, a-hole. I don't want your dollar.
Take
you
it
need it
home.
more than me.
It. Yeah, clearly. I'm good. But, man, I don't know. On that one, I was just kind of like, wow, really a future 6 for a guy that, and not just the guy that they drafted in the first round, but a guy that they traded 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 7th round picks in years after in order to be able to get that second, that pair of 1st round picks that went to drafting him and wide receiver Chris Olave. So there's all of this other sort of ancillary value that's tied up in that draft pick as well. And so it just kind of felt like the Saints didn't really get enough there. But could they have gotten more? Clearly not, because if they could have gotten more, they would have done that. And so my big question, though, is could you have gotten something better than a 2027 6 by letting him hit the market? Because I don't think they would have brought him back after this year. if they would have done that and then he would have signed elsewhere, could they have gotten something better than a 6th-round pick? We see guards get overpaid in the NFL all the time, season after season, because the position doesn't have a lot of talent across the league. And so that was the part that was a little bit shocking to me.
I mean, Trevor Penning and Andrus Peat were starting guards in the league for less. Cesar Ruiz is still a starting guard in the NFL despite not being good at his job. So, yes, it is hard to find sometimes starting guards in the NFL. Ross Jackson's with us. As you heard him say, Locked On Saints, podcast, YouTube, and, of course, you can read him over at louisianasports.net. Okay, Ross, with no Shaheed and no Penning, so 2 starters, where do the Saints turn for the final 8 games of the year?
Yeah, so at wide receiver, this is a perfect opportunity for the Saints to finally really start to get Devon Vele involved in their offense. He has gotten 10 targets so far this season, despite the Saints giving up a 4th and a future 7th to get him here to New Orleans at the beginning of the offseason. And so to get him out on the field now is a huge opportunity for the Saints to be able to evaluate what it is that they spent some draft capital on earlier on in the offseason. So I think that he'll become a big part of it. I'll be curious to see how Mason Tipton also gets maybe more involved as a field stretcher along with Chris Olave. And then we'll see, too, there's always a chance that Trey Palmer can come off of injured reserve. So they have some of these options at wide receiver. But the thing that I'm most highlighting for New Orleans when it comes to that position is the opportunity to get a full evaluation on Devon Vele and actually get him involved in the offense and on the field. At offensive line, I think this is easy. They go straight to Dylan Radins. The Saints started Dylan Radins the first 3 games before Trevor Penning was ready to go at the beginning of the season. Remember, he was dealing with the injury to open up the year, and so he missed the first 2 games. And 2 of those 3 games where Dylan Radins was the starter, this team went up against good rushing defenses in Arizona and San Francisco and ran for over 100 yards. Since Trevor Penning's been the starter, they had the 100-yard rushing game up against the Buffalo Bills, who were the penultimate, like one of the worst rushing defenses in the NFL during that game, have not rushed for 100 yards since then. So I'll be very interested to see if Dylan Radins is the missing piece to that category, to see if the Saints maybe get better blocking out of Dylan Radins in the run game, which would then support their young quarterback.
Was there anybody not traded who you thought would be?
There were a lot of options in terms of players that could be traded. You mentioned Cesar Ruiz earlier, linebacker Pete Werner, another veteran guy like Isaac Yiadom. Of course, there was a lot of conversation around Chris Olave, Carl Granderson, and others. Like, there were a lot of players that were, kind of tied into trade rumors and trade talks and things like that. However, I didn't think the Saints were going to make a single move today, if I'm being entirely honest. I thought they were going to strike out. And so to see them go up there and get any moves done, to me, that is the highlight. Otherwise, if they would have come out and they would have not made any moves, that would not have been shocking to me at all. And look, they got the Trevor Penning one in at the buzzer, right as the trade deadline was ending up. So they almost walked away with only 1 move getting done. I think them getting 2 moves done, 3 picks in, that's a good day for the Saints here at the trade deadline.
He is Ross Jackson, Locked On Saints and louisianasports.net. Anything else I'm missing?
No, not at this point. I mean, this is the biggest thing is just going to be now where things go when it comes to the Saints utilizing those draft picks. That's what everything's going to be about now from here on forward. Getting the evaluation on Devon Vele is going to tell you a lot. Figuring out if maybe Dylan Radins can be a guy that's a part of their future, that's going to be a big part. But how they utilize those draft picks and what they do with them is going to tell the rest of the story around these moves.
How do you get an evaluation on Tyler Shuck with this offensive line and trading away your best offensive weapon? I mean, bro, this is it'll feel a lot like Spencer Rattler a year ago, quite honestly.
Yeah, I mean, look, Spencer Rattler went through something very similar. Yeah, I would say to an even further extent, and he came away out of that feeling like, and having given the team enough confidence to be willing to roll with him, a new regime the next year. There's no telling. I mean, look, here's the one thing. If Tyler Shuck pans out, there will be no question marks around it, right? Like, you'll know. It'll be obvious if he's going to work in this scenario and in this situation. And who knows, maybe Devon Vele gives the Saints a little bit of an element that they weren't able to take advantage of, a little bit more in the intermediate area as opposed to all this, short game or, when they can't get the deep hit. And then maybe they get better play out of their offensive line. Maybe there's an addition by subtraction kind of a situation here. So there are areas where this could work out. But if Tyler Shuck does pan out, there'll be no confusion about it. It'll be obvious.
I just love that you're an eternal optimist, Ross. We all should be more like you. He is Ross Jackson. LouisianaSports.net is where you can read him. You can listen or watch to the Locked On Saints podcast. Thank you.
Thank you, bud. Take care. Stay safe. Talk to you soon.
All right. We appreciate it. That's Ross Jackson. We're brought to you by Arco Power Systems, ARCCO, Arco.com, Arco.com. This is industrial Generac generator power. It's not for your home. It's for your business. So what does a loss of power mean for your business? At Arco Power Systems, they make sure that the roads are working, the phones, the dispatchers for 911, that life continues through an event. At Arco Power Systems, they have sales, service, installation, maintenance, support, and emergency response. They do it all. If it's turnkey service, so be proactive. They sell, they lease, they service. If you need a generator for your business, you need Arco Power Systems. And by the way, it ain't just Baton Rouge. I mean, it is the whole state of Louisiana. They go north to Little Rock, east to Mobile, west to San Antonio, Houston, Austin, Dallas. They're everywhere. It's Arco Power Systems. ARCCO, ARCCO, Arco.com, Arco.com for Arco Power Systems. All right, we're not going to break. Come back, wrap up hour number 2. Muso, we'll do Tigers and the Pros, and then Sean Salisbury in 15 minutes. Stay here.
After further review.
Turned on the heater last night. No worries, though. I get my heater safety check every year, just like you should do. From River City's 1 Hour Air. Give them a buzz, y'all. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. They'll come by. They'll make sure that your home central heater is clean, safe, and efficient to run for the cold weather months. Kayla Bennett sent this 5-star Google review. My technician, Eric, was extremely thorough on my first maintenance appointment. I'm very happy with the turnaround time and the customer service. Highly recommend. Another 5-star Google review. Mine's been in there for years. Erica and I have been customers. River City's 1 Hour Air for as long as we've been married and been homeowners. They do amazing work, and I always, always, always recommend joining their maintenance club. You get complimentary seasonal maintenance on your AC and your heater as part of your maintenance club membership. It's River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She thinks my tractor's sexy.
All right, Sean Salisbury will be with us here after the top of the hour. Zion's hurt again. Pelicans confirmed grade 1 hamstring. So, I'm sure he'll miss the rest of the year on that. That's speculative on my part. I'm just using history as an indicator here. We'll keep you posted as we know more. Right now, Muso has Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
Oh, that's actually a great segue because we had a full slate of NBA action on Monday night with former Tigers in action.
Can't wait.
What?
Can't wait.
Oh. We'll start with Naz Reid for the Timberwolves.
Should have stayed.
Naz, 24 minutes in a bench role, 21 points, here along with 3 boards. He also had a block and a steal, 70% from the floor and 67% from 3. He really lit it up. Plus 14. He was all over the place, for the Timberwolves last night, contributing to a big double-digit point win over the Nets. Cam Thomas, of course, with the Nets on the other side of that game. Starting role for Cam, 35 minutes, 25 points. That puts Cam Thomas as the Nets' leading scorer in the ball game. Shot 10 of 24, dominant from the free throw line as he normally is. Also threw in 3 assists and 2 steals in that one. Tari Eason with the Houston Rockets. He got a start a night ago as well. Shot 66% from the floor, totaled up 15 points in the ball game as well. Awesome breakaway slam dunk for Tari as well against the Mavericks in that one. And the Rockets would go ahead and get the win. You'll remember in the offseason, Trendon Watford signed a 2-year, $5 million deal.
I actually don't remember
with
that.
the Philadelphia 76ers. Oh, well, Matt, in the offseason, Trendon Watford signed a 2-year,
Well, don't tell me what I will
$5 million
remember.
deal
Don't tell me what I'll remember.
with
I
the
don't remember
76ers. And it looks
You
like
remember that.
it looks like it's a great deal so far for the Sixers. 16 points off the bench with 9 rebounds, so a near double-double for Trendon Watford and the Sixers as well. Victorious by double digits. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank, vinyl siding. They do it all. They do it better than anyone. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Tell you, man, when the weather gets cold, woke up this morning, it was 42 degrees. I'm so thankful for our energy efficient replacement windows, because what you'll notice, you ever walk by windows and they're really drafty? That's because you have air leaks. They're not sealed properly. And so whenever it's cold, you get that cold draft coming through the crevices in those windows. Well, that means that your heater has to work overtime to keep your home warm. So you want to lower your energy bill? Install energy-efficient replacement windows from Relief Windows. They measure twice, install once, every window custom-made to the exact specifications of your home, and they come with a lifetime transferable warranty on labor, material, and glass breakage. They will never be the cheapest, but they will always, always, always be the best, no exceptions. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. All right, y'all. It is After Further Review. Tuesday show is powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Shay Dixon was here in hour one. Thanks to Verge Ausberry, who was just here with us a bit ago, LSU's interim AD. Sean Salisbury jumps aboard. I got to get Sean's take on Tyler Shuck's debut, but then also, my goodness, how do you go about evaluating a quarterback when you just traded away your best offensive weapon and the offensive line is a total mash unit? Spencer Rattler had to go with that a year ago, and Tyler Shuck's about to face it as well. Hour 3 is next.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Hey, look, Rouse's is always a great spot, as we tell you, to get by if you're having a tailgate, a home gate, game watch party, whatever it may be. You got people coming over. Rouse's has everything you need for your game day. All your party platters, tailgate trays, cheese trays, mini muffalettas, the drumettes, ribs. They can do it all. Whatever you want in their deli, their meat market, they can do those trays for you. It's awesome. Fruit trays, vegetable trays. It's awesome. Of course, grab and go. Super easy. Call them, tell them what you want, when you want to pick it up. They'll have it ready for you over at Rouse's. Also, coming up here in a few weeks, Taste of the Holidays on November the 15th. We'll tell you more about that. You can get more info at Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. But making groceries, they've been helping you do that for 65 years at Rouse's. So download the app or go to Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com, Rouse's. This feels like home.